Wouldn't it be dope if that ended in 666? But the probabilities are so low, I didn't want to just sit there and keep rolling. Anyway, welcome to In Nomine, your source of tabletop gaming for adventures, and the sister channel to Evil Live. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, because today we are reviewing In Nomine Umbrarum, the Liber Umbrarum, the Book of Ghosts. That's right. So this is needs to get out of my way. This was an online-only release from In Nomine, Steve Jackson Games. It was downloadable as a PDF if you purchased it, and it's still available if you go to the Steve Jackson Games, I think it's like Warehouse 23 or something, or if you go through Drive-Thru RPG. Either way, there's a link in the description that'll take you there, and you can pick it up for yourself if you are so inclined. So this was written by, well, before I get into that, let me give you my initial thoughts. This is dope. 100% dope. Love this extension. It was only like 40 pages, so it was a quick read, but it is packed full of really great role-playing content. So if you enjoy that sort of thing, if you like, it's for In Nomine, the system of In Nomine. If you like that, we're going to get into what it's all about, but it's definitely worth the price point, whatever that may be. I think it's like $9 or something like that. All right. That's my initial thoughts. It was written by Chris Anthony and edited by Elizabeth McCoy. I don't know who those people are. Additional material was added by Elizabeth McCoy, Scott D. Herring, and Maurice Lane. I don't know who those people are. It was illustrated by Rogerio Villalea and Christopher Shy. I don't know any of these people, so I'm just letting you know in case you care. It's about 40 pages. It's about $9, and it's also has stats. So this is what's great about the later releases of In Nomine, is Steve Jackson Games is known for GURPS, General Universal Role-Playing System, and they have tons of releases and different editions of releases of GURPS. It's basically a role-playing system like D&D, for example. But they put out In Nomine, which is its own system, game system, which I think is great and a lot of fun and a wonderful system to play because of its simplicity, but also diversity in application, as you can tell by any of the content on this channel. But what they did with later editions is that they would release both the In Nomine version of the game, but also with notes in order to convert it to GURPS. So you're basically getting two game systems in one purchase for the product. And I appreciate that. I like it. I've never played the GURPS version of In Nomine. I don't know why I would. I've played a lot of GURPS back in my military days with a really great old friend of mine. But after the military, I just stopped playing it. So In Nomine for me, I guess. I don't know. Ostensibly, Liber Umbrarum means the Book of Ghosts. So this whole 40 pages is devoted just to expanding the idea of ghosts, which were initially presented in the Corporeal Player's Guide, which I've also reviewed on this channel. And it opens up the whole sort of, I can't really say world of ghosts, but universe of ghosts in Nomine. So if you want to have ghosts as NPCs, it has all sorts of new stuff for them. If you want to play a ghost, it has information about that. Or if your hero dies, it tells you how to use them as a ghost and how the players can still play them as a ghost after they had died. So it has tons of information, expanding the rules, adding new variants and information, and it even gives you all sorts of extras within it too. So it is jam-packed, 40 pages, quick to read, lots of great things within it. All right, so let's get into what I find interesting that is herein. It adds a differentiation. So within Nomine, it's a game system about angels versus demons at its core. That's the whole, it's about the war between angels and demons. But you can also have humans, and you can also have ethereal spirits. And so what's the difference between a spirit that is the ethereal version of, non-physical entities and a ghost? Well, it straight up specifies that in this. So ghosts versus spirits is the same as phantom, shade, or haunt versus ethereal entities. So phantom, shades, or haunts are some of the versions of ghosts that you'll run across. And ethereal spirits are spirits. So there is a difference in vernacular, which is important to understand when you're talking about it, so that you as the game master or you as the player understand whether or not you're facing an ethereal entity or a deceased corporeal entity or a celestial entity. That's important. So ghosts manifest in the corporeal realm or are celestial forms of a previous corporeal. So basically your spirit of your body is a ghost. Spirits are ethereals. They can enter the ethereal realm through dreaming celestials or through a tether. So just as a reminder for those who may not know or just may have forgotten, a tether is a location on Earth that is connected to either the celestial realm, heaven, hell, or the ethereal realm, sort of the dream realm, the realm of imagination, as it were. But there are these physical locations that are just connected to those different realms, and a spirit, like a dead mortal, can actually pass through one of those realms into the ethereal realm or into the celestial realm, or vice versa. Or they can just follow a dreaming celestial. Because they're already dead, they can't really connect with the humans, with mortals in the corporeal realm as easily as other entities that are already spiritual, like celestials. For creating ghost PCs and NPCs, it includes new resources. So resources are like advantages and disadvantages, roles and skills and stuff like that. This presents a whole host of new ones that are specific. So this supplement isn't just for people who may want to add ghosts to their campaign or play ghosts in their campaign. It's also for game masters who may want to introduce the idea of ghost hunting into their campaigns. Maybe you want to run a Ghostbusters campaign. Maybe you want to run a campaign based around the Conjuring universe, where you have spirits tormenting and torturing mortals. Well, if you want to hunt down ghosts, you need this supplement because it gives you all sorts of information about how human groups and human individuals can be sensitive or can help destroy or find or locate or whatever ghosts. It's great. And reading this, I was just thinking of all these amazing different ways of playing the In Nomine game, like running a straight up Ghostbusters game. And I think, Ghostbusters, the role-playing game, originally came out by West End Games. It was a D6 game, and it's what West End Games based the Star Wars role-playing game, the original one, off of. And so there is an old version. I'm sure there's been updated versions of the Ghostbusters role-playing game and stuff. But with In Nomine, you get your earthly rules and realm, and you also get your spiritual realm. And Ghostbusters is all about talking about the spiritual realm and connecting with it and capturing it. That's the whole point. And so In Nomine is a perfect extension of that. I'll probably do a video on it at some later date. But also, if you want to go instead of like a more of a campy, sort of scary storytelling setting like Ghostbusters universe, you could also just take it, like I mentioned, the Conjuring universe, which is terrifying. And as long as you set up the game world right, this supplement will help you do that in a really wonderful way. You can not just be victims of a haunt. You could be the actual what are they called? Like the seers, the sensitive ghost hunters. I can't remember the Warrens. Basically, you could be like them. Through the use of this. I feel like I have this hair in my mustache that's like pointing up and it's driving me insane. I'm going to fight through it, but it's present. It's going to drive me nuts. So it gives you a bunch of advantages and disadvantages, and then it tells you how to use those in different types of storytelling or different types of play. And then it breaks down the different types of ghosts, and sweet hell are there wonderful examples here. So you have human ghosts, animal ghosts, and location ghosts. And then it breaks down different versions of each so that you can, and as it's breaking those down, it tells you how you can implement them or how you can include them into your games already. So for human ghosts, you have screaming skulls, which are basically just poltergeists. And they're just basically the ghosts that like torment you and let you know that they're there. You have hungry ghosts, which are basically like the gaki, which is like an Asian version of a ghost. You have the puncta mortem, which are like moments of death. the ghosts that are just reliving the moments of torment where they passed from the mortal world to the celestial world. You have lurkers. They're just sort of like hang around either because of a tragic incident or because of a location. And then you have mirror ghosts, which they're just reflections. The horror that they experienced in life are like, like in The Shining, when Scatman Crothers is telling the little boy how like burnt toast, like The Shining is like burnt toast. You get that smell in the air. That's kind of the vibe I get with the mirror ghost. Like whatever happened was so traumatic that it leaves this residual experience, which is the ghost in the realm. For the animal ghosts, you get like shrikes. I think that's how you pronounce it. Shrikes. Ghost cats, which don't really do anything. They're just like sort of phantom cats that are just around. You have phantom herds, which if you ever watched, there's this really great show on Amazon Prime called, has Josh Brolin in it, Outer Range. And there's this herd of buffalo that come through this time travel hole. It sounds weird what I'm saying, but anyway, it's this herd of animals that comes through, and you can get caught up in that. In this particular case, it would be animals, a ghost herd of animals that comes through, and you can actually get hurt by them. And then they have vidue, which are like relics. So these animal essences that are tied to these relics. And location ghosts are great because it has like transplantation, it has like echoes and like ghost ships and different types of vessels. So you can have like locations that are haunted simply because something horrible happened there. And so the location itself starts developing this sort of like spiritual strength or power, which becomes haunted. And it can draw in other entities, or it can just be a manifestation of itself. You see this a lot in horror films. But also, sort of like those amazing stories we used to watch as kids. I don't know if anyone knows that. I don't know if the age is appropriate as a reference, but there'd be like ghost trains and stuff like that, and ghost ships. Well, that tells you how to include those, which is very, very cool. And then it breaks down a lot of different play styles to include ghosts in your campaign. And it gives you adventure seeds. So if you just want to pick up one of these examples of a scenario, you can then extrapolate it to your own player characters and your own campaign that you're running and just include it. What I really love about In Nomine as a role-playing system is that you can have all of these different types of experiences with the rule sets in one standard campaign, or you can play a whole different style of game. And I've given examples of using Evil Dead as a backstory, or Hellraiser as a backstory, or The Prophecy and stuff. But like I mentioned earlier, Ghostbusters is a perfect example on how to use In Nomine as a game system to play an IP, an intellectual property like Ghostbusters, or if you just want to go straight horror, doing it through the Conjuring universe, and just really using these rules to immerse your players and set them up in this really wonderful frame of mind. Because when you use IP language like Conjuring or like Ghostbusters, immediately the players have an emotional connection with that. They know where you're trying to go from a storytelling standpoint. And so you have to do less heavy lifting as a game master in order to convince them, oh, well, this is where you're supposed to act scared, for example. Because you don't have to worry about that, because you already told them we're going to be playing a Ghostbusters style game. We're just using In Nomine as the game system to play it. And it's just a wonderful way of immersing the players into whatever story you want to tell. And I really, really dig it. Yes, In Nomine, but specifically this supplement. So my favorite parts of this supplement, it's got to be the types of ghosts that it presents. It really inspires you as a game master and how you can run different types of ghost campaigns or introduce ghosts into your own campaign. It does a brilliant job of it. So I'm really, really impressed with these game designers that put this supplement together. And my least favorite part, I don't really have one. I mean, this is a great supplement for the In Nomine game. And while I've had reservations with some of the previous supplements, specifically the Ethereal Player's Guide, where they use completely disparate rules for character creation if you're going to create an ethereal spirit, this relies solely on the existing game mechanics. So you don't have to learn or adjust anything. It's just here. And it's always been here because it's embedded not just in the Corporeal Player's Guide, but it's also in the core rules using ghosts. So it's really, really interesting and engaging the way that they present it and inspiring from a storytelling standpoint. I highly recommend it. And so because of all of that, this is a very short episode here, I have to give it 5 evil eyes, people. This is a perfect supplement for the In Nomine role-playing system. You have to get it if you're interested in telling any type of ghost type story. It will help you and it will help the players immeasurably. So do yourselves a favor and go pick it up. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode. Of course, let me know if you like these types of reviews, or if you even want to hear about In Nomine, or if you want to hear about other game systems. I'm more than happy to talk about them as well. I'm going to be getting into Werewolf the Apocalypse. I'm going to be getting into Call of Cthulhu more. And then I'm going to be sort of spiraling out to Vampire the Masquerade and World of Darkness and all sorts of other really great stuff. So stay tuned, and I appreciate your time and attention. All right, so always remember, like it or not, evil spelled backwards is live, so get out there and be evil.